We are entering the final stage of the credit card bracket challenge because the field has now been set and we know exactly what the championship matchup is going to be. So in this video, RJ and myself are going to break down the results of the final four, which is the conference final matchups in the travel region and cashback regions. We'll preview what's to come in the championship and announce what I believe to be a special championship episode in terms of how we are going to announce the winner. Real quick, if you've been enjoying the bracket challenge so far, then do me a huge favor and hit that like button and consider subscribing to both RJ and my channel because it's a free and easy way to support both of us, and we would really appreciate it if you would consider doing so. All right, before I break down the conference final matchup in the travel region, I'm going to first toss it over to RJ. He's going to break down what happened in the conference finals on the cashback side.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's RJ, Commissioner of the Credit Card Madness Tournament, of course, co-host for the Cash region. Thank you so much for having me back once again. You know the deal here. There is only one matchup left, and we are in the conference finals in both cashback and travel region. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it here, see how the conference final broke down for cashback. Now, of course, we had two competitors left. A very dominant City Custom Cash, which was our strong 1 seed, versus a 3 seed, a respectable 3 seed, but is on a warpath as well in the Capital One Saber One Rewards. And in a shocking, absolutely shocking turn of events to me, Capital One, Saber One has moved on, knocked off the City Custom Cash with a decisive 58% of the vote. City Custom Cash take home 42%. I did not see that coming in the least bit, but that is how you guys have voted. So your Capital One, Saber One Rewards is the regional championship for cashback. It is going to move on to the absolute final matchup next week. Of course, Mr. Welter is going to tell you who's moving on from the travel region and more about how we're going to do that show, because it is going to be good to send the tournament out the right way. So, as always, thank you guys for having me. If you're interested in my full thoughts on the cashback region, as well as all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance every single week, well, then there's youtube.com/RJ Financial. Again, thank you guys so much for having me. I will see you right back here next week to crown a champion.
Now let's take a look at the conference finals on the travel side of the bracket so we can see exactly which card is going to be advancing to the overall championship to take on the winner of the cashback side. As a reminder, the conference final matchup on the travel side had the number 1 seed defending champ Capital One Venture X taking on the number 2 seed Chase Sapphire Preferred. And even though the Sapphire Preferred did put up a somewhat tight battle, the defending champ Capital One Venture X did end up prevailing and recorded over 56% of the vote. And now the Capital One Venture X will be headed back to the championship and is only 1 win away from repeating and becoming a back-to-back champion. So now I'm going to get into my thoughts on this conference championship matchup in the travel region between the Sapphire Preferred and the Venture X, and then I'm going to preview what's to come in the special championship episode. I can't say that I'm surprised that the Venture X has now run the table and is advancing to the overall championship, because I think this credit card bracket challenge is a very strong indication that the Capital One Venture X is as popular as ever. And the only thing that might have surprised me a little bit is how convincingly that the Venture X ran through the competition, because even though it still took home a comfortable over 56% of the vote against the Chase Sapphire Preferred, this is actually the closest matchup that it's had the whole tournament. The Chase Sapphire Preferred has definitely had a great run as well, because advancing to the travel region conference championship is definitely not an easy feat. And honestly, even though the Chase Sapphire Preferred was the number 2 seed, it probably even got a little bit further than it even deserved. When you take into account the results from the cashback region, we now have set the stage for an all Capital One championship, with both components of the Capital One duo, the Capital One Venture X and the Capital One Saver One, facing off against each other in the overall championship. The Capital One Venture X getting to the championship again was somewhat predictable because it was the number 1 overall seed, and it has already proven that it can do so since it won the championship last year. But the Capital One Saver One was the number 3 seed in the cashback region, so it did have to pull off a couple of upsets, including beating the number 1 seed City Custom Cash in the past round. And so it'll be interesting if the Capital One Saver One can continue its hot streak and put up a good fight against the Venture X in the championship. Now, I alluded to it earlier in this video, but in terms of what's next, RJ and myself are going to be doing a joint live stream, and we're going to be doing it at the same time that we've been posting all of these videos. So it's going to be next Tuesday, April 9th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And don't worry, because I'm going to be making a community post to remind you all about that. But basically in that live stream, we're going to be recapping what has happened in the credit card bracket challenge so far. We're going to be announcing the overall winner of the entire challenge. And then we will be on for an hour or so it'll turn into a mini Q&A for both the bracket challenge and for RJ and myself. But as always, the link to vote is going to be down in the description of this video. Happy voting, and I'm excited to see you all next week for our live stream when we announce the winner.